Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video. I'm in this rather incredible place. I'm in this rather incredible place called Arbroath, and I remember seeing one of my members' pictures from here. I'm not sure if they entered it for competition or for critique, but I thought that's really cool, so I reached out and asked where this particular area was, and he said it's a breakwater in Arbroath, hence the reason I'm here now as part of my Scotland road trip. And I've got to tell you, I'm so glad that I'm here because this place looks incredible. The main objective for me today is to go and photograph that breakwater, and it looks like the better angle to photograph the breakwater at is the other side of the water where I'm currently at, and according to Google Maps it's about a 15-minute walk around, so I'll head that way in a second to have a look around. But I also like these breakwaters here to my left hand side, your right hand side, really look nice as well. Good for minimalistic or fine art, or my style of fine art, landscape stroke seascape photography as well. So that looks pretty cool. High tide is a couple hours from now, which will be 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And up to press, the sky looks fantastic. About an hour ago, bright blue skies, no good at all. But now, fingers crossed, these are the type of skies that look good during a very long exposure. This definitely looks like the main angle at which to grab the breakwater. From here it gives us a lovely curve going off into infinity, and the main element will sit quite nicely on the bottom left hand third. Quite nice. My only slight issue now though is now that the tide is in, there seems to be a storm brewing on the horizon, which is a little bit annoying because now it's starting to rain as well. So I think before I dither around anymore, it's a case of let's just grab this picture from here, and then let's start moving around and seeing what we can grab. Well, because it's the middle of the day, I'm going to apply my polarizer because it'll do two things. One, it'll reduce or help reduce the light down hitting that center, just in case I'm struggling to achieve a 2 or a 4 minute exposure, but also there's a bit of sheen on that water that I might need to reduce. Right, before I do anything, let's throw you guys in camera so you can see my composition. It is quite literally going to be something as simple as that. Now, bearing in mind, I'm going to remove the horizon, and also I'm probably going to remove all of the clutter in the background just to isolate that S-bend, because I want this image to have a real minimalistic feel. And I don't think, apart from leveling the horizon, I don't think I need to do any more to it than that. That, I think, will look lovely. And I'm hoping, I'm not sure which way the sky's moving. but I'm hoping over a 2 or a 4 minute exposure that's going to give me a nice streak in the sky. So let's see what I can do with this. Straight away I know that f14 I can achieve a 2 minute exposure. That means at f20 I can achieve a 4 minute exposure. And you know what? I'm going to go straight for that. And for once, and quite rarely for me, I'm not using a graduated filter to bring the light down in the sky, because the light in the sky at the moment seems to be the same brightness as the light on the sea. By the way, if it's raining when you're shooting a long exposure shot, as long as you don't move your camera, you can go in and just give your filters a little bit of a wipe. That'll depend on the length of time the shutter is open, of course, but over a 4 minute exposure that's not going to register at all. So if you do get any big drops of water on the front element of your filters, just go in and give it a bit of a wipe. Now annoyingly, in the length of time it's taken me to chat to you guys, not only is there a bit of blue sky that's appeared above my head, but out into the distance where I'm shooting, there appears to be a lot more rain coming in, and because of it the sky is now changed from that nice grungy sky that I was hoping to streak. It's now just formed this grey blanket, which is okay for minimalistic photography, but if you want a little bit of detail in the sky, which I do sometimes, then I'm just not going to get it on this particular shot. I'm sure if I just hang on, that rain will dissipate. Yeah, because it's okay, but I could see where the rain is affecting the picture. So I'm just going to hang on and wait till this rain just comes across and hopefully clears up, and then I'll reshoot the picture. Like 20 minutes for me, blink of an eye for you. The rain has stopped. Looks like another day, a completely different day. I've got some clouds that are lighting up in the background now, so that's quite cool. So I've readjusted my exposure to 2 minutes instead of 4 minutes, just to get one in the bag before it starts raining again. And apart from a slight hot spot in the sky, which is really annoying, that is pretty cool. I like that. That is very, very nice. Right, so I am going to have to do what I normally do, and that's apply my gradient filter to balance that light up in the sky. Completely different perspective down here, completely different. We've lost the S-bend, but I still think it looks nice. I do. So from here, there's just a straight line of sea defense wall and a marker. There's another marker out to sea as well, but I'm not sure if I'll include that or lose that in the edit. But from this angle here, very minimalistic. Like I say, he's lost the character of that gorgeous S-bend, but still looks quite nice. Again, I'll throw you guys in camera to let you have a look at what I can see from here. There, so nice and bright. I'm looking at something like that. Oh, this is quite nice. Look at this. That's a nice little treat. That's cool, isn't it? How cool is that? Right, okay, back to you guys in camera. Awkward for the sky in the background. You can see the sun is really reflecting off the surface of the sea as well. And that sky, nightmare to try and capture that. Because ideally, I'd like to capture this frame at something like that. I could do that with multiple exposures, don't get me wrong, but that's going to be quite a thing. Or even what's quite nice, I'm not sure if you guys have ever tried this before, is but using multiple exposures in the frame, i.e. a 2-minute exposure for the sea to turn the sea into an ice skating rink, and then use a sped up shutter speed to show all the drama in the sky without blurring it. Alright, let's have a look at this and see what I can do. Oh, that sky is proving to be quite something. Right. So for a 2-minute exposure, let's concentrate on the sea first of all for a 2-minute exposure. So shutter speed down to 1/8 of a second, which equates to 2 minutes when you apply a 10-stop filter. My ISO is as low as I can get it. I'm closing that aperture all the way up, f/18, f/20, f/22. I might be able to get away with that at f/22. And I think that might work a treat. Now the question is, do I show off 2/3 of the sky and 1/3 of the floor, or the other way around? Right. 2-minute exposure at f/22. Of course, I don't have to shoot at f/22. I could just apply a 15-stop filter and then open that aperture up. But it doesn't matter about shooting this image at f/22. And the reason being is because, A, we don't have to worry about diffraction nowadays with the quality of equipment that most of us are using. But also, because I'm blurring 90% of the image anyway, it makes not a jot of difference. So, in case any of you guys are wondering why I'm closing my aperture up when perhaps you've been told you shouldn't, that's the reason why. This picture that I've just captured looks fantastic, but because I've exposed for the sky being the brightest part of the image, despite the fact I've got a gradient filter on the front of my lens, the sky looks wonderful, but the sea looks a little bit too dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm reshooting the picture now, but I've opened the aperture up by 1 stop from f/22 to f/16. That way it'll add an extra stop of light, which I'm going to use purely for the sea. And that looks so nice. So I can combine the same 2-minute long exposure of the sky and the sea. It's just multiple exposures. That's really cool. And you know what? I'm going to open my aperture up further to f/11, add in another stop of light, just to give myself options in post-production. See what you think of this. So the tide is definitely too low to grab the main picture that I wanted to grab, but clutching at straws, I've seen something that has a lot of potential. There's a couple of breakwaters that I'm going to use. There's a bit of a frame either side and a few collapsed well, they look like collapsed breakwaters actually in the sea lying down. And I think over a long exposure, it might make for an interesting image. Third of the floor, 2/3 of the sky. So basically this is me just trying to grab one last picture. I'm so annoyed with myself that I spent so long over the other side that I've missed out on the opportunity to grab some of these breakwaters, because I've got to tell you, they do look really cool, especially from really low down. So if I was here now with an incoming tide, I could photograph this with a tide height that would suit the picture, because I think there's a bit of potential in it. But anyway, I'll show you that picture in a second, but do me a favor, as always, if you've enjoyed this video, help support the channel by giving that like button a bit of a nudge. If you're new here and you want to find your way back, then consider subscribing as well. Until the next time, guys, cheers.